Hello, everybody. My name is Mike Behrens, and welcome to the DH Pickleball Show, where we talk to my good friend David Henry about his pickleball journey, and he shares his tips and tricks on what he's doing to play a higher level of pickleball on his journey and goal of becoming a senior pickleball pro. Today's episode, we are going to talk about his strength and conditioning. I'm very excited for this. This is a thing that I know a little bit about, a lot more than I know about pickleball. So I'm excited to have this conversation today. And the guy that's on the screen with us, his name's David, and we're going to talk to him. So David, hey man, welcome to the DH Pickleball Show, your show. Nice to see you.
Hey man. Thanks, Mike. Nice to see you as well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, man. I'm doing great. I'm very excited for our conversation today because I have to give you a hard time, number one, and then also dive into some tips on what you're doing to improve your strength and conditioning. So
Sure.
Let's just jump right into this because I really want to give you a hard time to start off. And you set me up for this because in episode 1, you said that your strength and conditioning when you started playing pickleball was, quote, piss poor. And I didn't know you at the time, or maybe I did. I don't know. We had just met, but I want to know what you mean by piss poor.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been athletic my entire life, okay, and played sports my entire life. But I would say the 10 years leading up to 2022, when I really first started playing pickleball, I did a lot of barbell strength and conditioning, or strength work, not conditioning work, strength work, and that's about it.
Okay.
I wasn't doing, any cardio or endurance work. I really wasn't playing a sport. Tennis was well before that, and I hadn't found pickleball yet. And so, yeah, I was not doing much of anything. And so, when I got out on the pickleball court at first, it was piss poor.
Sure.
From a conditioning standpoint, I was just sucking wind and, just was not in shape. And I remember, it was technically the second tournament I ever played because I think we talked about another episode. Right when I first got started, I entered a holiday tournament with my buddy, and when we got our clocks cleaned. But technically the first real tournament, once I kind of knew what I was doing, it was a big APP tournament over in Indianapolis. And since I was still just getting started in pickleball, I didn't really know people for doubles, so I just entered that as singles. And so it was a men's 50 plus 4.0 singles tournament that I played in, and I wasn't in good shape, obviously coming into it. But then the 12 weeks prior to that tournament, I had sprained my ankle, and so wasn't even playing pickleball. So I was nothing, and then this tournament comes out, and it was pretty high. I think it was June or July. I think June of 2022, and a pretty hot day. And so I go over and I play singles, which again, pickleball court's not huge like a tennis court, but still, you're moving up and down and side to side, all over the place. And I went 3 games with the guys. I won that match, but I had to go 3, so I didn't win it in 2. I had to go 3. So, man, I was just absolutely sucking wind. And so I got off the court with the victory. But then this facility, it was some massive high school northeast of Indianapolis, out in the kind of far suburbs. And they must have had like 6 dedicated pickleball courts, but then they also had like 16 tennis courts. And you can get 2 pickleball courts on each tennis court, okay? So they had 32 line taped up tennis courts, 32 pickleball courts that were on the tennis courts, and then they had 6 dedicated, so 38 courts. Well, yeah, that was a problem because they had so many courts, they were able to really efficiently run this tournament. So I played this singles match that wears me out. I'm sucking wind. The sun had just come out. It was a cloudy, overcast day, but of course, when I went on court, the sun came out. So, that happened. And I get off the court and I go back to the car to get some electrolytes, get some water, rest for a few minutes. And I wasn't back to the car for more than 5 minutes. and I get a text on my phone saying, "You're up for your next match." So anyway, I lost that one. It was the guy was good. He whipped me. I lost that one. And then again, same thing happened because it's double elimination. So that moved me to the back draw. So then got to the car, and again, I probably wasn't at the car more than 5 or 10 minutes, and I got the text for my third game. So my third match. So yeah, so that was just a case in point of shining a light on my piss poor conditioning.
So you were strength training at the time. So you were strong. We just weren't doing any cardio work.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's okay. You can get a pass as long as you were training still.
I was. But I will say not as much because
sure.
The first 6 months of that year with pickleball, had a little bit more aches and pains, and then I rolled the ankle. And so my strength training wasn't at the levels it had even been in the past. But yeah, I was still strength training.
Sure. Okay. So was it after that first tournament that you decided to do something different, or did you just kind of see what happened over the next year or so?
Well, after that first tournament, I knew I needed to do something different, but I didn't. I just continued playing pickleball just throughout the rest of 22.
Okay.
And
did you get better? I mean, did your cardio get better during that time?
Yeah. It certainly got better. And then this year in 2023, the first half of the year, I was still doing the same thing, just, playing pickleball and doing a little bit of strength training. And, conditioning definitely got better, but still nowhere, to where, I need it to be at in order to play at an elite level. And like we talk about, play senior pro at some point. I mean, it's just not there.
Yeah, sure. So after that tournament in 22, did you intentionally try to work on cardio a little bit more, or were you just kind of getting it via pickleball matches and tournaments and things like that?
Just that.
Yeah.
Just that.
Fair enough.
Just that. Yeah.
And
you
rolled your ankle, did you get back to the strength training a little bit more?
Yeah, I did. But, just from a time standpoint, I was obsessed with pickleball and play a lot more. So the strength training was a lot more intermittent than it had been for the previous 10 years.
Sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so then, basically fast forward to like this year, this May of 2023, that's when, I kind of made a decision that, hey, I really have to make this a priority and do something.
Yeah, sure. Well, real quick before we go to May, and we'll get to May in just a second.
Okay.
What you said, you brought up the prior 10 years. What kind of strength training? You mentioned you were doing primarily barbell training, but did it have a rhythm to it? Were you doing like bodybuilder style stuff, or like what kind of training had you been doing for that 10-year period?
Yeah, it was not the type of strength training that gives you any sort of cardio. It was not that. It was more power lifter.
Oh, cool.
Starting Strength was the base program from Mark Ripito. It's just a popular program. But basically it was just low bar back squats, bench press, overhead press, deadlifts, and power cleans.
Cool.
Kind of like the big multi-joint type of exercises. And really I was only doing like sets of 5. So like 3 by 5, and then maybe on a heavier day 1 by 5. Things like that. Wow. So again, it was not the type that you're doing circuits and moving around a lot. It was not the type where you're even doing a lot of volume on your reps. So it was the type of strength training that has the least cardio associated with it,
Yeah. Do you feel like you got pretty strong doing that?
I did. Now strong is of course a relative term because, people
strong
probably,
for you, I guess.
For me, yeah. Because again, that's what I was getting at. People probably, see me on here, and I know you can't see my full body on here, but see me on Instagram, and they're like, that dude does not look strong. But I will say that I've lost a lot of size and strength over the last couple of years, just due to finally being more active with pickleball, and then just some diet and digestive issues. I got to clean up my diet more, and so I have to be really particular about what I eat. So I've definitely lost some size and strength over the last couple of years. But yeah, back then I was strong for me, for a short 5'8", small framed guy in his mid to late 40s at that time. Yeah, I was pretty strong for me. I was pleased with it. So I've lost you a little bit. Okay, there you're back.
Yeah, we paused for just a second.
All right.
No, that's good. I mean, I just was curious about your training in the past, and it's good to know what kind of training people have done, so I can lead into some more questions. Because in May, to bring us back to talking about May of this year, you decided to make a change. So what prompted that change, and what prompted that decision to finally okay, I got to do something?
Yeah, I mean, I just realized, I mean, I'd go out and play for 2-3 hours of just open play or league, or, even in a tournament, and I would notice at the beginning, hour one, man, I'm light on my feet. I'm moving around. My footwork's good. I'm getting low on my shots. I'm bending down. Everything's fine. And then, by hour two and hour three, you notice that, your footwork's not as good. You're not as light on your feet. You're sucking wind, so just things like that just led me to believe that, if I made my conditioning, and also I still want to improve my strength, but if I made my conditioning a priority, I'm just going to play better pickleball. And that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So what'd you do?
Yeah. So a buddy of mine, the guy that I played the very first holiday tournament with, Denny, he's associated with a strength and conditioning program. It's called Set the Bar Online Training, and the main guy that runs it is Todd Euler. We can talk about him more in a minute, but phenomenal guy. But anyway, so Denny had been telling me for a while, hey, when you're ready to do something, we've got some great programs, and so I finally said, okay, I'm ready. And so, he put me on this program and got me connected with Todd. And, we started talking and talked about my goals a little bit. And so what they did first was they put me on one of their kind of starter programs. What they do, Set the Bar Online Training Systems, they really focus on helping guys roughly over 40 who have lost strength, lost fitness over the years, get back, to being stronger, more athletic guys. And so that's kind of their target market. And I fit into that demographic of their target market. And so they have a base kind of core program called 42. And 42 is kind of I'll say strength and conditioning program. The strength part's a little light because it's all body weight. So it's all body weight. You don't need any equipment to do 42. But the reason it's called 42 is it's 42 days. So six weeks is what the program is. And so so I got started on 42, and I'll stop there, but we can go into the details of 42 if you want.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to know. I mean, the naming of it is awesome, 42, because it's 42 days. That's perfect. So what is 42? I mean, I'm very curious of how, because, if the age demographic that they're looking for is 40 and over, I fall into that category too. So what is the training like for their program?
I see the workouts that you do on Instagram, and you'd be well beyond 42. 42 would be too basic of a program for you. But what it is there's, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 1, 2, 7 exercises. So basically it is a body weight strength and conditioning program, and it's circuit. Okay. So basically, the first exercise, and so in week 1, you're doing 8 reps of each exercise, and then you're doing 5 rounds of the circuit. So you're going through the circuit 5 times, or 15 minutes. It's just 15-minute program, a day.
Okay.
So you go through your 5 circuits, or 15 minutes, whichever comes first.
Yeah.
And that's what you do. So the first exercise is just body weight squats. So you're sitting there squatting now 8 reps of bodyweight squats, then move to single leg deadlift. So you're doing 8 for each leg, then push-ups. So just normal bodyweight push-ups, standing rows. So you're just kind of standing there and squeezing back and just do standing rows without any weights. Tricep dips. So you either use a chair. I used a bench. I have a bench downstairs. So I just got on the bench and did tricep dips. A seated jump. So I sat on the bench and then I would jump up and leap up and then sit back down on the bench and then jump up as high as I could and do that 8 times. And then cross crawl. So kind of like the sit-ups where you're touching your knee to your elbow and alternating and doing cross crawl. And you're doing 8 to each knee. So you're doing 16. And that's round 1.
Cool.
And then you just proceed to round 2. And so then I was getting through it. I was getting through all 5 rounds at the 8 rep thing. Then week 2 is basically the exact same exercises, exact same circuit, but instead of doing 8 reps, you're doing 10. Mm-hmm. And then in week 3, you're doing the same exercises, same circuits, but you're doing 12. The reps go up to 12. And so nice. But what was cool about it too is that like I was getting through the 8 reps easily. And then the 10, I think I was getting through most of the time, if not all. But then in week 3, when it moved to 12, I wasn't getting through the full 5 circuits at 12 reps. But what was cool about it is as that week progressed, I was getting deeper into the workout each time.
Oh, cool. Good.
Yeah. So it was cool. And so really, because I had done strength training, for a decade prior, I would say the strength components of 42, the push-ups, the tricep dips, that stuff was pretty easy for me.
Sure.
But man, just the movement and the cardio and that was kicking my butt. But it was exactly what I wanted and what I needed.
Yeah, it's humbling, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And so like you look at something like that, a circuit workout like that you feel like, oh, I can do squats, I can do single leg deadlifts, push-ups. That's easy peasy, Like you look at it, but then you're like, oh, let's do this for time as fast as I can.
Sure.
Ouch.
Yeah. Ouch is a good word for it.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah. And then I forgot to mention I followed each circuit with a 10-minute weighted backpack walk. Oh, so I'd throw 10, 20, 30 pounds in backpack and walk for 10 minutes. And that was the end of each workout. And so then those were the first 3 weeks. So then the second 3 weeks, same concept of 5 rounds of circuit, 8 reps week 4, 10 reps week 5, 12 reps week 6, but the exercises changed. So then it was RFE, and I don't you probably know what that is. RFE split squats, then lying hip lifts, something called the back widow, push-ups to side planks, then cobra push-ups, which are more of triceps. So you've got kind of the triangle, for those, mountain climbers, and then lateral jumping, lateral bounds, then followed by the 10-minute weighted walk again. So that was weeks 4 through 6.
Nice. That's pretty good workout. Yeah. The RFE is rear foot elevated. Otherwise,
yes, because that's what I did. I elevated my rear foot on the bench and then I would squat. So that makes perfect sense. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, they're also called Bulgarian split squats too, depending on how you want to do it. So it just depending on how you want to call them. So RFE, Bulgarian, either way, they suck. It doesn't matter what you call them, they suck.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. All right. So that was 42 and you got through the 42 days. How did you feel after you got done with 42 days?
Yeah, really good, man. Really good. It was exactly what I needed. I felt that my conditioning had just gotten so much better. And, Coach Todd, we had to submit, results and, tracking, and we had to submit, a photo each week, shirtless, standing in a pair of shorts and front view and side view. I had to submit those photos. And, and so then when we were done with the 6th week, he took my before 42 photo and then he meshed and put it side by side with my end of the 42 photo. And, again, not massive difference, but you see some difference. Some good
Heck
difference.
yeah, dude. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I love it. Very
So
cool.
it was good.
Well, it's always good to take before and after photos. And for anybody watching and listening to this, any type of workout program like that, it's good to track your progress so that you can see where you come from and see where you go. I mean, it seems silly. You don't want to take a picture of yourself in your shorts, but at the same time, like, just do it because it'll help you and keep you motivated and keep going. So good job.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. That's awesome.
My wife just teased the crap out of me about that. She's like,
I bet she
go
did.
ahead. Yeah. She's like, go ahead and send your shirtless photos to Coach Todd. I mean, it was never any. And my son was home this summer from college, so the two of them would just feed off each other, making fun of me to no end.
I love it. That's great. Okay. All right. So now that you got through that, when did you finish that? How long ago was that?
Oh goodness, man, that was probably mid-July.
Mid-July.
I finished it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So now what are you doing since mid-July, and what are you doing for the program now?
Yeah. So now I've moved to a more formal program. So I shouldn't say more formal. Coach Todd and Denny were very kind and generous to give me 42 for free. Now I've moved to a paid program that
Gotcha.
I'm paying, and they're still very, very generous and kind to me. But it's called Resurgence, is what Coach Todd calls it. And I don't know if Resurgence is just kind of a label for a next level program beyond 42, because I think it's custom to me. I think he customized this program to me. So I don't think there's just an off-the-shelf Resurgence program that he throws everybody into, like 42. 42 is probably more of a standard off-the-shelf program for most people. I think this next level of Resurgence, he's customizing it to me. So we talked at the end of 42. We got on a Zoom, and then we've had some phone calls and stuff as well, and talked about my goals and where I wanted to go. And so I definitely want to keep continuing to improve the conditioning. I mean, I've made massive strides and love where it's gone, but still always needs to get better. And then I definitely want to start getting back to strength work, for pickleball reasons, and also just for health reasons, and aesthetic reasons. I mean, I won't be shy about saying that. I mean, everybody wants to look better, so.
Yeah. Look good in a t-shirt. Fill out those sleeves.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I get it, man.
So that's what I do is Resurgence. And so, custom program for me. And so I'm going to get out some things, some of my notes and tracking sheets, so I can make sure I speak to it correctly. But it's a mix of strength training and conditioning. And he knew, I talked to him, down in the basement when I was doing the starting strength and doing the other barbell training. I've got a power rack. I've got couple different barbells and a curl bar and straight bar, and I've got a Rogue bench, a bunch of plates, almost everything down there's Rogue Fitness, and so I had all that equipment. So I said, hey, let's design something where I can use that equipment, because I think Coach Dodd does a lot more dumbbell work, free weight dumbbell work, and I just don't have dumbbells and don't want to go out and purchase all that. I'm like, I've got all this barbell and plates and stuff down there, so let's use that. So he designed a program for me. So basically, we're going through like 4-week cycles, and at the end of 4 weeks, we meet again and we have a Zoom and we discuss things that we're at and what changes we need to make. But the first 4-week cycle that I went through on Resurgence, so it's 7-day program. So Monday is strength conditioning, upper body, and we can go into specifics of that. Tuesday is conditioning. I do a little bit of band work, and then I stay in a green zone. So that's one thing that I got for being in the program, paying for the program. Coach Todd sent me a MyZone heart rate monitor.
Yeah.
And MyZone's got these different zones of your heart rate. So like light gray, dark gray, blue, green, yellow, red. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of gauge your workouts a little bit. So Tuesday conditioning is a little bit of band work, and then just 20 minutes of staying in that green zone. So it's pretty much probably aerobic, probably not going anaerobic. And then Wednesday is strength training, lower body. Thursday is conditioning, doing some band work, but instead of doing that green zone aerobic training, he's got me doing sprint intervals. And so he's got me doing, I'm probably doing 50-yard sprints.
Okay.
And I'm doing 8 of them with 3 minutes rest in between. And I told him, I said, 3 minutes seems like a lot of rest between. He said, yeah, just wait till you get to your 6th, 7th, and 8th. And he's right. Three minutes goes like that when you're recovering from the sprint intervals. But I love it. I love the sprint intervals. It's so much fun. Then back on Friday, I'm doing upper strength conditioning. On Saturday, I'm upper strength training. On Saturday, I'm doing conditioning more in that green zone. And then Sunday's active recovery. Then the next week, the strength training flips. So instead of doing 2 days upper, 1 day lower, it just flip-flops to 2 days lower, 1 day upper.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that split. I mean, it's good. It's not, and it seems like, you're in the kind of the beginning stages of the program too.
Sure.
So maybe starting off with a little lower volume, a little less intensity for starting out, with the training volume. That seems like a pretty good split for me, and the more conditioning, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I won't lie. I mean, it's darn tough. Like when I was doing 42, I was playing pickleball some nights and then coming home and do 42 because it was 15 minutes and then a 10-minute walk, But these workouts are about 45 to an hour. So
nice.
Yeah, but it's I won't lie. It's hard on the days I play pickleball.
I bet. Well, have you noticed a difference in your pickleball game though?
Yeah, I mean, with 42 for sure. And now continuing this, I noticed that I'm able to go a little bit longer and better footwork, and so it's definitely paying off, for sure. But
Awesome.
let's dive in the exercises, the lifts that I'm doing.
Oh, sure, yeah, I'm curious. What are they?
Yeah. So on upper day, he's got me doing bench press, barbell rows, shoulder press, tricep skull crushers, and then some easy bar curls. Okay. But the reps and the weight is pretty interesting, and it's killer for me, but I love it. So let's just take bench press for example. I'm going to do the first set is 12 reps.
Okay.
Then set 2, I'm taking a 10-pound jump in weight, and I'm doing 10 reps. Then set 3, I'm taking a 10-pound jump in weight and doing 8 reps. Set 4, I'm taking a 10-pound jump in weight and doing 6 reps. Set 5, I'm going back to my set 2 weight, so I'm lightening up, but then I'm doing 12 again reps. And then I'm supersetting it with some band work of 12. So I'm doing the bench with the weights of those sets, and then at the very end, I'm doing 12 with the bench press of the weight with the barbell, and then the minute I'm done with that, I'm taking a band and wrapping it around, and I'm doing bench press with the band. I mean, it's killer. It's killer. I'm doing awesome. I'm doing that same pattern and rep work on every lift.
Oh, that's good. That's good there. Because it's, you're working for strength and you're fatiguing the muscle, so you're hitting burnout. So that's awesome. That's a great way to improve your conditioning of your muscle, but it's also a great way to build some strength and tear down the muscle, rebuild the muscle, so it's denser, so it's more solid. That's good, David. That's good.
Yeah. I mean,
it sucks and hard, but it's good.
It does, man. And Coach Todd said with that last set of 12, and then you're supersetting it with a band. He said that's just a mental test.
Yeah,
I mean, totally. That's what it is. I mean, you're just grinding it out, trying to get through that. But yeah, I mean, people should look him up. I'll link below this. I'll link to Set the Bar Online Training Systems. I think to a Facebook group they have. So if anybody's interested in doing that, they can look that up. But I'll just say real quick. I mean, Denny, my friend, who's a coach in this program that helps Todd, Denny is just like an athletic beast. Like just softball, volleyball, pickleball. I mean, I think Denny's about 48, so he's about 4 years younger than me. Just an athletic beast. But Denny's training is all about just sports performance. He just loves sports and loves competing, and so that's what he's about. Todd, people ought to look Todd up. It's Todd Euler, Todduhlir, and I'll link it. But that's his Instagram page. I think he's 48 as well, and Todd is just strength, strong, fit beast. I mean, the dude's the muscles and awesome. I mean, strong. And so he certainly knows what he's doing. He's got massive years of experience in strength training and conditioning. And so, so basically when I told him what my goals were, I think from my perspective, I think he's designed like a perfect program for me to, meet my goals.
Dude, yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be spot on. So, okay.
But it's hard. But it's hard. It's hard as hell.
Yeah. So with the bands, is it just a burnout set on the bands, or is there a target for reps on the band for the finisher?
It's 12. So you do 12 with the weight, and then you immediately go to 12 reps for the band. So you're just doing one superset of 24. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, that's cool. I dig that.
Yeah,
I dig that.
It's cool. Very good. And then on the lower exercises, I'm doing low bar back squat. That's what I've always done. Low bar back squat. So I'm doing that. I'm doing a stiff leg deadlift.
Yep.
I'm doing a straight leg sit up, and then this is really fun. I'm doing some farmer carries.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Now I don't have the farmer carry bars or tools or whatever like they sell on Rogue. So I'm just grabbing 25-pound plates, 35-pound plates, and 45-pound plates and just walking with the plates. But they're fun. They're fun. They're good. It's a good way to kind of finish out the workout.
Oh, that's good, dude. I dig that. I mean, it sounds like this is right up the alley of what you need for conditioning and strength, and then also for the little aesthetic piece of it too. So that's awesome. Very cool. Okay, yeah. So what's the plan moving forward? Are you with the Resurgence program, was it a week thing or is it a month thing? Like, how is that timeline wise of where you're going with?
I may be crazy. I've committed for a year.
Awesome.
To work with Todd for a year. And like I said, I mean, we've become friends. And so we text periodically, and he's always there to help me and answer my questions. But then we do every 4 weeks so every month. So 12 times over the course of the year, we have a Zoom session where we reevaluate the previous 4 weeks and then talk about, okay, what's next for the next 4 weeks. And so he said that for the first 4 weeks I've already completed, and that's what I just described and told you. He said we're going to stay on that, just continuing to increase the weight. We're going to stay on that for the next 4 weeks. And so I'm in the middle of that right now. And then I don't know, month 3, 4, I don't know. He may change up the exercise. So, again, he knows his stuff. And so I trust him, and we'll see where it goes. But yeah, committed to a full year of this.
Dude, that's great. I'm very excited to have this conversation in 10 months and see where you're at, because that would be really, really cool to see how it directly has translated to your strength and conditioning and how it has affected your pickleball game. I mean, are you noticing results now from your strength training on the pickleball court?
I'd say from the conditioning piece, for sure, I am. From the strength piece, probably not yet. But it's we'll come back to why I think the strength piece is important for pickleball. But I will say that one of the things that I'm kind of struggling with a little bit with this Resurgence program is that obviously I want to gain weight and gain muscle. Again, being a big bulky bodybuilder, I'm never gonna be that. I just don't have the frame or the hormonal makeup or whatever. And it's not a goal of mine. I don't want to be big and bulky. Sure. That will hurt my pickleball game. But I do want to be bigger and stronger for sure, and believe that will translate to better results on the court. But what I'm doing right now is part of the program. I have to weigh myself every single morning to see where we're at, and I am just not gaining at all. Because I'm burning so much, dude. So for example, I wore this MyZone in a tournament I played in early August. We'll talk about that in the August results update. But I wore the MyZone monitor for about 4 or 5 hours during that tournament, and it's super interesting. I love the feedback that it's given me. But over the course of those 4 or 5 hours that Saturday morning, it said I burned 4,600 calories.
Whoa.
And that's why I asked Coach Todd, I said, how accurate is the calorie piece? He said, pretty accurate. He said probably plus or minus 10%.
Sure.
And so, man, I'm burning so much, and I've just been playing so much pickleball and then doing the training and the conditioning work that I'm really, really having trouble eating enough and gaining weight. And so, I mean, Coach Todd was great about it. And he said, he's like, actually, the fact that because he sees all my zone activities, we're all connected to the app. So he sees all my activity. And he's like, given the activity level that you're putting out, the fact that you're maintaining, that's a win.
Yeah.
Because you're burning through so many calories and doing so much work. So the fact that you're maintaining weight is a win, but we still got to find a way to gain. So that's the piece I'm struggling with right now. I would say I think I'm like about 6 weeks into resurgence, and I don't think I've really gained anything.
So is it a nutrition program too, or just strength and conditioning?
Just strength and conditioning. But I mean, he gave me a little app that I could download and use as far as macro tracking, and he's given me some goals and guidelines of kind of what I need calories I need to take in and stuff like that. And I'm doing a pretty good job of it. But like I said, just the activity level is so high that so anyway, but we'll get it licked, and I'll definitely get that scale moving upward in the right direction. But right now it's pretty much staying constant.
Well, I know a guy who could talk to you about some nutrition stuff that you could do. I mean, he might be on this podcast with you right now if you want to talk about it after we get done here.
for sure. But all kidding aside, one of the pieces too, I think I mentioned before, is I do have some digestive issues that I've just gotten in later in life that really keep me from. I can't really have sugars or trashy carbs, and it really hurts me. So I've kind of not really even by choice, but out of necessity, kind of moved to a little bit more of a keto-ish type of diet. And so, I have to be more picky with what I eat. So it's challenging to put on weight, but we'll get there.
I get it. Well, I got some tips, I'll tell you. Well, the key one, so anybody's listening and wondering what I'm going to tell David when we get off of this, when we get done recording, I'm going to tell him that at a minimum, you should be consuming 1 gram per pound of desired body weight per day. 1 gram of protein per pound of desired body weight per day. So, as an example, for a 200-pound man who wants to weigh 215 pounds and bulk up, you're going to try to eat 215 grams of protein every day. And so, David, if you're not doing that, then that could be one of the things that is hindering your growth from a muscle perspective. Possibly.
Sure. That is, I mean, I do pretty well with it, but that is a piece of it. And I will say, this is coming from a guy who I saw an Instagram story yesterday of a breakfast picture that had nine eggs and 4 sausage links. I mean, so you're getting your protein. Six. Okay. 6. My memory is not as good. So you definitely got some serious protein in that breakfast yesterday.
The only difference between me and you is I'm 6'5" and I weigh 270 pounds, and you're not.
Sure. That is true.
That is true. Shoot. Okay. All right. Well, all right. So as far as the strength and conditioning goes, what are you hoping for? Like, what's kind of a target for us to keep tabs on over the next 10 months of training with the set the bar guys?
Yeah. I mean, obviously from a metric standpoint, I just want the weight. I mean, I'm not going to say the weights that I've started out with here. It's embarrassingly low, but I want the weight on the bar, obviously, to continue to keep going up. And then I want the weight on the body, on the scale, to start going up. Because it's not. So those are like the measurable, quantifiable metrics. And then, I just want to see the translation on the pickleball court, which I'm already seeing the benefits from a conditioning standpoint. But I just want to see that get better. I mean, I just want to be, I'm competitive, and I just want to be able to outlast every 50-year-old fucker that I come up against, I want to, get that conditioning just to be tip-top shape. And so I'm on that path. I'm nowhere near there yet, but I want that to be like, I don't want to ever tire before an opponent.
Yeah.
So that's the piece. And then from the strength piece, I think a lot of people probably say, well, how does strength translate to success on a pickleball court? And I mean, again, I think, I've got the shot mechanics, I've got the timing on my strokes. So if I'm able to put more force and power behind the shots, that's always a good thing. A lot of the shots in pickleball, your shots are much more effective on your a lot of your dinks when you're at the kitchen line. If you can get and stay low, as you're hitting those shots, and it just takes strength and muscle work to be able to stay in that position longer, and go from there. And then I won't lie, because I mentioned earlier, aesthetics is a piece of it, that yes, I want to look better. And we've talked before, I'm just looking for every little teeny advantage that I can get. And if there's a little bit of intimidation factor walking on the court, that, man, this guy really looks like he's fit and in shape and strong, and oh crap, I might have my hands full for this match.
Yeah.
Good. I want that too.
And I will not fault you for any of that. There is nothing wrong with being strong. Everybody should be strong. Everybody should try to be strong, whether you're playing pickleball or not. Everybody should try to be strong. And so I think that is a great thing for you to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've talked about, Tim Grover. He was the strength and conditioning coach that worked with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade. And so I love his two books. I listened to those on audiobooks over and over and over again. But I remember, I don't remember his first book or second book, but he was talking about, training Jordan. And he was talking about, he had Jordan training and doing bicep curls and stuff like that. And he was just getting criticized, like, that's not important to basketball. Why does he need to have big biceps, for basketball? And he talked about that exact factor. He said, when Jordan takes off the warm-up jersey and he's in his tank and those guns are blazing, he's like, it's an intimidation factor.
It's a true story. It's a true story.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
anyway, all factors into it. No, I love it, man. That's great. That's great. Well, I hope by the time we have this conversation in 10 months, you are well conditioned, in better shape than anybody else on the court, and
yes, sir,
jacked to the gills. Let's hope.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the goal.
Cool. All right. Well, anything else that you want to share about your strength and conditioning and how it's going, and what you hope for?
No. I think we've covered quite a bit of it. I'm watching the clock here. We're at 42 minutes on this episode. I never expected this one to quite be as long as it would, but that's awesome. I mean, I think it's been a great discussion.
Yeah, no, I can geek out on stuff like this, so we can talk longer if you want, but we'll wrap it up.
Sounds good.
But for everybody listening and watching, David and I are definitely going to talk a little bit when we get done recording about what we can do to help him bulk up a little bit. So anyway, for this episode of the DH Pickleball Show, I am Mike Behrens. David Henry is on the screen with us as well. He just shared what he's doing for his strength and conditioning. As always, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel, leave your questions if you have them, so that David can answer them. We'd love to engage with you as you find this content valuable. Let us know if you like it. If you don't like it, let us know. We're definitely open to any kind of feedback that you can give us here. And we've got some more episodes coming up. I mean, we're into episode 11 of the recording right now, so that's pretty awesome. And yeah, that's it for the DH Pickleball Show this week. For David Henry and myself, we'll see you in the next episode.